In a small town in California lived a young man named Jack. He had an ordinary life, friends, work, and dreams of traveling. One day, while studying foreign languages, he met a girl from Germany named Emma on a language forum. Their conversations in the chat room quickly grew into something more. Emma was bright, intelligent, and witty, and Jack fell in love with her more and more every day. After a few months of chatting online, they decided to meet. Emma came to California for the summer, and it was a real treat for Jack. Their relationship grew rapidly, and soon Emma made the decision to stay to live with Jack because their feelings were real and deep. However, after Emma moved in with him, an unexpected twist began. In the beginning of their life together, everything seemed perfect. They had fun exploring the neighborhood, traveling to cities, and enjoying nature. But soon Jack noticed a strange change in Emma's behavior. At first, it manifested itself in her strange dreams. She often woke up in the middle of the night in a sweat, said that she saw eerie images, and heard whispers. Emma then began predicting events that then actually happened. For example, she could say it would rain tomorrow, and a few hours later the weather would change. At first, Jack was amazed. He was surprised. But soon he began to notice that the predictions were becoming more and more gloomy and disturbing. Once a week, Emma would tell him about the visions that were getting stranger and stranger. "There's something dark in that orange light," she said one day, pointing out the window. Jack, not knowing what that meant, began to worry. Soon he began to notice how Emma would sometimes lose touch with reality for a few seconds, her eyes looking empty, as if someone else was in them. One evening, after coming home from work, Jack found Emma sitting in the kitchen with empty eyes. She hadn't noticed him, which alarmed him more than anything. "Emma, are you okay?" he asked, stepping closer. She slowly turned her head and said, "You know, I feel like someone is watching me." Jack felt a chill run down his skin. He couldn't imagine anything going on in her head, and he thought it might be something dark. Slowly, Emma began to talk about how she had a gift for predicting the future, and Jack listened anxiously. He thought back to all the strange intersecting coincidences and convinced himself that they were all just coincidences. He supported Emma, trying to convince her that there was nothing wrong and that she was just going through the stress of a new country. But each day she became more and more immersed in her visions and had less and less contact with people. The problems escalated when one day Emma claimed she was seeing herself in a terrifying dream where she was serving some dark creature. "It's calling me," she said, "and I can't resist it." This frightened Jack. He began searching for information, hoping to find an answer to this terror. He learned about dark entities and demons that could enter people's minds. With each article, he became more and more wary, and his love for Emma turned to worry. He decided to try to help Emma. Jack reached out to local shamans and healers, looking for ways to combat the dark influence. He joined forces with friends and family, trying to create a safe space for Emma. But every time he tried to do something for her, Emma only pulled away. She seemed lost and didn't understand how anyone could help her. "Why can't you hear me?" he exclaimed in desperation. "I just want to help you, Emma." She replied with indifference. "You don't understand, Jack. It's a part of me. You don't have to fight it." Those words were like a knife to the heart. The situation had reached its breaking point when Emma suddenly predicted something catastrophic. "Something terrible is about to happen. A big storm. You must be prepared." She looked absolutely certain of her words. Looking at her, Jack felt that something more than distance lay between him and her world. He knew he had to do something about it. There was an elderly man living not far from them who was renowned for his wisdom and experience. Jack decided to go to him for help. The meeting with him was peaceful, and after listening to Jack's story, the old man said, "True love means accepting even the darkest sides of our partner. You must learn to live with it, not fight it." These words were a revelation to Jack. He suddenly realized that if he truly loved Emma, he had to not only fight his demons, but also understand her. He decided that he would support Emma even if she had to face her own fears. He knew that things like this wouldn't be fixed by someone else. It had to be her fight. It wasn't even a week later that Jack himself began to notice the images surrounding Emma. They weren't physically obvious, but he could feel their presence. He wasn't afraid anymore. On the contrary, he felt the need to protect her. In his hind mind, he realized that this was his chance to show his true love. Jack began to show more concern for Emma. Every time she talked about her visions, he listened to her and didn't judge her. Instead, he started asking open-ended questions. How did you feel when this happened? Or, do you think this is connected to something from your past? This helped Emma sort out her fears, and gradually she opened up about her experiences. The more they chatted, the more Emma relaxed. Soon they began practicing meditation together to help Emma learn to control her visions. They created an atmosphere of love and understanding, and Emma became more confident in her abilities. Despite this, Jack still remained wary and felt that the shadow of something dark could destroy their relationship at any moment. One day, as they were walking through the park, Emma stopped and wrapped her arms around her head. "Something's wrong, Jack. I'm getting scared," she said. The phrase made his heart squeeze. He took her hand and said, "We'll get through this together. I'm here by your side. You're not alone." This phrase reassured Emma, and soon she was able to predict more positive things again. She began to see bright prospects for the future, and they both realized that this amazing bond was making them stronger. A few months later, as they grew even closer to each other, their relationship was put to the test. Emma learned to control her abilities, and Jack became her support. They often speculated about life and how they could create their future by combining Jack's practical thinking and Emma's intuitive abilities. 8 months later, they decided to celebrate their anniversary at a small country house they rented for the weekend. It was a beautiful time, and in the evening they had a romantic dinner outdoors. Under the soft light of lanterns and stars, they immersed themselves in conversation and mused about how their lives had changed. As it began to get dark, Emma suddenly stopped. "I see," she began, but obviously her thoughts weren't clear. Jack leaned closer in anticipation, ready to support her. "I see us, Jack. We're together. We have children. It's going to be a happy life," she said and smiled. Despite the anxiety that overwhelmed him, Jack felt relieved, and his heart beat harder. He knew that the next chapter of their story was just beginning, and even though there were whispering shadows, they were ready to face each new day together. From that moment on, Jack and Emma realized that their love was strong enough to overcome any barriers, and with each new day, their bond grew stronger. Even when dark spirits tried to interfere in their lives, they knew that through understanding and love, they would be able to handle all the challenges that life would present them with.